The Giants were looking to make it 3 straight wins at MetLife Stadium today, but they were unsuccessful as they fell to the Niners 34-24. So let's talk some Giants football. We're going to do it with a host from WFAN, the one and only Danielle McCartan joins me now. Danielle, how you doing?
Oh, good. How are you, Dexter? It's been a while.
It
Glad we
has
finally
been a
connected
while.
on this one.
No, it has been a while since we talked some football. We've been trying to do this all season, but we finally got it
I
this
know.
week to get it done. I'm doing good, better than the Giants. You look like you were doing better than the Giants as well. But
Yeah.
Danielle, things look promising for the Giants to start this game on Sunday. They scored in their opening drive. They took a 7-0 lead. So my question to you, and if you can explain for the people, where did things go wrong for Big Blue against the Niners?
I guess I'll start with the fact that then the defense had to take the field. Dexter, this unit is disgusting. It can't tackle. They had missed assignments all over the place. It was like a JV defense out there. How do you leave Christian McCaffrey wide open? Like, I don't even know. Like, I was watching him do the wheel route on my TV, and I'm like, oh, that's where they're going. How did the Giants not see that? I mean, they were double teaming Kittle on that play and leaving Christian McCaffrey wide open. That never won anybody ever a single game in the history of the NFL. So, how can you win a game? Furthermore, when you let the opponent score at will in the red zone, San Francisco was 4 for 5 today in the red zone. I mean, it's like, look at this defense. Get a stop already. So what happened? The Giants had a great game plan going in, and then all of a sudden, the defense put them in a hole for the rest of the game.
Yeah, for the rest of the game. And we're going to get back to the defense in a second. We're not going to let them off the hook here. But let's look at the quarterback here, too, because Jaxson Dart threw for 2 scores, ran for another one. He now has the most games in the season, 5, with both a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown by a Giants QB within the season. So where are you on Jaxson Dart right now with his development and what you've seen from him this season?
Yeah, and by the way, he surpassed Daniel Jones today in order to get to that number 5. Look, Dexter, I like Jaxson Dart, and I'm really tough on quarterbacks because a lot of people throw out words like generational talent and whatever, all of the superlatives. And I always take a concerted effort to be like, okay, well, hold on a second. What I've seen from Jaxson Dart, I mean, I see him when he makes those throws on the run, he plants his right foot and then lets it go. I mean, he has the talent, he has the moxie, he has the attitude to succeed here in New York for a very long time. I also see Jaxson Dart as a guy with the right mentality. All we talk a lot about wanting to win, but not enough gets mentioned about those guys who hate to lose more than they like to win. And that is Jaxson Dart. And he exemplifies it after every loss. And I don't think it's for show. It's not ostentatious. That guy hates to lose more than he likes to win. And that's a good thing to have in that locker room. However, I see a guy that needs to learn how to protect himself and reel it in at the same time because there's no reason, for example, to take that late compound hit late in the game today and okay, who you're gonna put Jameis Winston in? So he is the future of this franchise. He needs to understand that, and he needs to be able to protect himself and put him in a situation where just slide. It's very simply just slide. Do they have to bring Joe Girardi in again like they did to Mark Sanchez? I mean, come on already.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm glad you went there because I was going to ask you about that. If the way he's playing, the style he's playing, if that was actually sustainable. And I do think that gives you a little bit of pause for cause from some of the Giants fans. Let me also follow up with this, though, Danielle,
Yeah.
because I was talking with one of my producers about this today. In terms
Yeah.
of where you are with him, because it sounds like you're liking his development, but
Yeah.
where do you see him? Do you see him as franchise quarterback, solid starting quarterback? Or is it too early to even try to put him in one of those groups?
I just think it's too early. I'm going to take that answer here because you look at who he's throwing to. I mean, Malik Neighbors is out. Cam Scadaboo, as we know, is out. We'll talk about that in a second, I'm sure. But the slew of the other guys, Darius Slayton. I mean, they are not high drafted guys. They are not that. You look at who, for example, Joe Burrow's throwing to his 2 wide receiver tandem. I mean, he's got options. Jaxson Dart doesn't have those options right now in this moment. So, you like the development. it's too soon to say if he's going to be that franchise quarterback or not, given what the talent around him is. And I feel like we're having the same conversation that we did with Daniel Jones. I mean, did they even draft a first round wide receiver with him? I think not until Neighbors, I believe. So it's just too early to tell, but he does have the right makeup. And I'm excited to see where that crescendo will be for him moving forward with a higher level of talent around him.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it's still a bit too early to tell. He's got to let some things cook for a bit, see if he can develop some more there. Now, let's go back to the defense, which you were rough on earlier. This defense, Danielle, they were expected to be improved this season. But the G-Men, they entered this game. This is some numbers for the people. Against the Niners, they entered this game. They allowed 71 points in the previous 5 quarters. Then they allowed 34 to the Niners this week. That makes for 105 points allowed in the past 9 quarters. Now, look, somebody's going to say, Dex, 3/4 of the starting secondary was out today. I get all that. But my question for you is, what has consistently been going wrong for this team on defense?
I think it's a lot of things. First of all, I never believed in the talent of that defense. And you know this, beyond the defensive line. I thought the secondary has been a weakness for this team for now. This is the 3rd season, especially once they traded out, what's his name, to the Green Bay Packers. What's his name? Xavier McKinney. When they traded McKinney away, that's when that secondary really took a hit. The captain of that defense was gone. I never thought that beyond the defensive line that this defense was all too good. Deontay Banks, Tay Banks, I don't believe in him. Cordell Flott, I never believed in him either. So it's like, okay, so they're not really working with a lot of talent to begin with on the starting rotation, if you will. Now, 3/4, would you say? We're out today? Okay, well, then there certainly isn't much depth behind those starters. And another question I'm gonna ask you, I mean, which guy in that defense hates to lose more than they like to win, just like Jaxson Dart does? I don't know. And you look at Dexter Lawrence, I know Carl Banks had some criticism of him earlier in the week, but he's getting double teamed among the most in the NFL. So who's stepping up on that defensive line? Nunez, Roches, maybe you can make a, argument for, but there needs to be, if he's taken on 2 offensive linemen, think about it. Who's the guy that's going to fill the gap? Who is the guy that's going to step up? So, I mean, Dexter, the Giants had a guy from the Jets practice squad starting for them today. The Jets are not that vaunted Bears defense. The Jets are terrible. So to take a guy from their practice squad to start him in this game, I mean, there is just they are devoid of talent on this team, defensively, I'd say.
Okay, Danielle, got to talk about this. Wanted to talk to you about this as well because before today's game, 2 planes flew over MetLife stadiums, and they had messages for Giants co-owner. One read, quote, Mr. Mara, enough is enough, clean house. And the other said, Mr. Mara, get well soon, which was a nice gesture there, and watch Giants Nation show. I'm not telling you guys to watch that, but that is what the message said. What did you make of these messages and also the notion that the Giants should clean house? What do you make of all that?
I mean, does this happen anywhere else in the country or just here in the Meadowlands? I don't know, because Jets, Giants, Plains. I mean, anyway, I thought the latter. We'll take that one first. I thought that was a nice message, but I thought it was totally tacky. I thought it was complete cheap advertising for that Giants, whatever it is, podcast, whatever it is. I mean, it wasn't as classy as it could have been. So my advice to them is keep that part out next time. It was completely tacky for me. As far as the other one, look, I'm really fired up about this one. I mean, my question is, how tone deaf can that person who or paid for, commissioned that message be? How tone deaf could you be? Let's run through the injury out today. Adepo, Bellinger, Illuminor, Flott, Holland, and not to mention you add that to Scattaboo and Malik Neighbors, gone for the rest of the season. That's number one. Number two, they just had one of the best drafts in 2025, coming away with a starting quarterback who looks to be the franchise quarterback of the future moving forward, and the best defensive player off the board, Abdul Carter. And number three, my question is this: you want to start over? Why? So you could put Jaxson Dart on the Daniel Jones hamster wheel, learning an entirely new offense year after year and getting nowhere? I mean, have you seen Daniel Jones, who I always believed in? You know that. he is on the fringe of this MVP conversation. So I just think, Dexter, that person who sanctioned that message is completely tone deaf to what is happening with this team currently and what has happened with this team in the past. I'd say knock it off. I mean, it's embarrassing, really. Like, get a clue, get an idea of what's going on here. I don't get it.
Yeah, so something that was interesting that I ended up reading about was the group of people that did this, and it's interesting they had money to pay for this to get this done, right? They were supposed to do this earlier in the season when I think Jaxson Dart was supposed to make his first start. In his first start, they were going to do it then. That's when they were disgruntled. To your point, if you look at everything that's happened since then, right, and the development of Jaxson Dart, we're talking about the Giants winning 2 games in a row at home before this Sunday,
Yeah.
feels a little bit off. Like you could have done it then, but it was too late to do it now.
So here's what you do, Dexter. You either call the company and you get a refund and say, we're no longer going to do this, or you call the company and say, hey, we're going to change our message. It's really that simple. I mean, this message should never have flown. I hope they're embarrassed by it. I mean, it's just, it's insane to me that this is happening. You know, this, I know the Giants have a terrible record. I get it. You have to look at different markers for success with this team. And I think they're hitting some of them, not all of them, but to suggest that you're going to go ahead and just clean house again with a quarterback that you just drafted, put him on that hamster wheel all over again, like the Daniel Jones experiment, which failed here in New York. I just don't understand why people are clamoring for that.
Yeah, but you know, you're always going to get that side of it. And no, I do not think they're embarrassed by it. I think they want to do it again. I actually really do believe that. I think they want to do it again. Sadly, here, thumbs down for Danielle on that one. Last thing for me here, Danielle. Giants, they're 2-7. You just mentioned that. Next week they're in the Windy City. They're going to play the Bears. So we just talked about John Mara. He said he wanted this team to be relevant in December. Can the Giants develop Jaxson Dart, as we talked about, and be relevant by the end of the month, heading into December? Do you think that's possible when you look at their schedule?
Yeah, I think Dart's going to continue to ascend. I think that's just the player that he is. I mean, you see him walk to the sideline. He's chatting it up with Jameis Winston. I saw Darius Slayton. He sat next to him today. Like there's a lot of positivity. Whereas where I watch the Jets, those quarterbacks just sit down and you know they might as well just give them some popcorn. They're just watching the game like everybody else. But have to give a shout out to my dad here because we're going to be in Chicago for that Bears game. And we are very happy that it's certainly more relevant than the Falcons game we went to at the end of December last year. So thank God for that. But relevant is what's that? Subjective. Relevant is a subjective term here, Dexter, because relevant, is it 500? Is it, you know, what is that? But I think if the Giants can win, let's say 2 out of the next 4, they can get into that bye week. They can get into December with games against 2 below 500 out of division teams. And then the Commanders and the Cowboys on the schedule. And you just, with the familiarity factor, you never know what can happen in a divisional game. So there is a chance. I mean, you know, again, maybe the better question is, will they be irrelevant? I don't think so. But it starts with taking at least 2 games from either Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, or Vrabel's Patriots in a Tommy Cutlets reunion. So that's not going to be such an easy task. But if they could take 2 out of the next 4, I think they won't be irrelevant, if we'll put it that way.
Yeah, they could be on the outside of the playoff hunt if that's possible. They take 2 of the next 4. And I know you have that date circled against the Patriots, so you can see your boy Tommy Cutlets again. I know you can't wait for that as well. But the Giants losing 34-24 on Sunday to the Niners. They fall to 2-7 on the season. That is Danielle McCartan. Check her out on WFAN. Always does a great job talking New York sports there. Danielle, we finally got to talk some football this season. We'll do it again soon, hopefully after a win. Hopefully that happens.
Oh, keep your fingers crossed. I hope so.
I hope so.
Those are much more fun.
Those are much more fun. Thank you, Danielle.